Hi, I'm Debbie Cronister. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I'm glad you're joining me today. You can find me at stampwithdeb.com, and I am I'm on Facebook Live every Tuesday at 3 o'clock and Pacific Time, and I'm so happy you're here with me today. Let's get started. I have a really fun project for you today. So keep your eyes open for that. So today I'm going to make, I don't know what you're going to make, but I'm going to make this one. And so this is that same style. And when I opened it up, I have stamped the flower in here. And I wasn't going to do that because it's kind of a big image. But I thought I need to show you how to stamp that flower because there is a secret to it. So, but this is just, and then I've used the DSP. This flower, this image right here, was actually cut out of the DSP. The DSP on this is so gorgeous. And DSP, everybody knows, is designer series paper. And so you can actually use this die and cut the flower out. Let me go grab a piece of that. This is the one that I used right here. And the other side of that has a beautiful gold running through there. These are the flowers. So if you have, so see how there's a part of one here? This would work on a card. These, where they're not complete, they'll work on the edge of a card. So you would place them, let me just grab something here. So you would actually place them like on an edge like that. So it looks like it was intentional, that you cut it off intentionally on purpose. So even if you went and fussy cut around this, and then, or even use the die. On this one you could use the die. On this one you'd have to fussy cut. But if you use the die and cut around it, and then put that right up against something, it'll look like it was intentional, like you meant to do that. So it's always good use of those edges that are around here. Love this one. I don't know why. It reminds me of something and I can't figure out what it is. But it's so pretty. This is Crumb Cake in here. And Evening Evergreen. And then the Soft Succulent. And then Calypso Coral. So it's just really beautiful. On the other side of that are the large cranes. Is that what it is? It's a crane? Okay. And then let's go on. Just this one has the gold, and it's just beautiful with the bamboo-like look on the other side. This, I love this one. I haven't done anything with it. This is the first time I've worked with this paper, but I just love it. It is so pretty. And then the other side of that one has the gold. So each sheet has one sheet with gold intertwined in it somewhere, and then the other one has a pattern on it. I love this one. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but I think it's so pretty. It just has a wonderful feel to it. So, and the other side of that one is this. And in our stamp set and dies, there is, and I have no idea what this is called, but there's this image that you can die cut, which is the same image as this. It does not cut that out, but it's, and then there is one. Nope, that's different too. That wouldn't cut it either. I was thinking maybe that would cut out just like two of them or something, but no, it won't. But so let's go on. What else is under here? Did I do them all? I did that one. Yep, I've done them all. I showed you all of them. So anyway, they're beautiful papers. And so I cut out that image from the paper. So somewhere here I have a kit, so let's get started. All of these measurements, I am not going to give you all the measurements because it's too hard for me to do when I'm doing that. And so I will put them on my blog, and you can get them from there. So I am going to do the pop-up card. It's so many times we have done a card that is the gatefold, and that's what this is. This is a gatefold pop-up card. And so I'm starting out with a piece that is 8.5 by 5.5. And I've scored it at 2 1/8 on each end. And then I'm going to add a piece of basic white on the inside here. Okay, come on, glue. Work with me. Okay. So I'm just going to add that to the inside. And this is cut at 1/8 of an inch difference. Now you could cut it at 1/4 inch if you want. That's not a problem. It would not make any difference. Just make sure everything is 1/4 inch different. I just like my 1/8 inch differences. Okay, and then on the front, I'm going to flip this over, and on the front, I am going to attach my beautiful designer paper, and I'm using this one. I had a hard time deciding. There were a couple of them that I really liked that I thought, they would be beautiful on there. So I'm just going to attach that, leaving that 1/16 of an inch all the way around. And there we are. Okay, then I'm going to set that aside and let it dry so I don't move those parts. Okay, then I have a piece of basic white that's 3 by 4, and I have embossed it with the Tasteful Textile, I believe it's called, embossing folder. And so I'm going to attach that to a piece of Calypso Coral that's 3 1/8 by 4 1/8. See, I told you I wasn't going to give you those measurements. Now here I am. It just works that way, doesn't it? Okay, and then I have a piece of Evening Evergreen that's 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we're going to put it on there. Just like that, just leaving that little bit of a margin around the edges, trying to make it even. Doesn't always happen, especially with those tiny, tiny margins. They're really, you have to really be careful on those. Okay, so then I'm going to attach my image that I have cut out of the designer series paper. So this is like super simple. I feel like I'm cheating. I'm not even stamping. And so I'm just going to attach that towards the top because I have a greeting that I'm going to put on the bottom. And let's see, I have a bow here and some glue dots. So let's grab that. So this is Evening Evergreen open weave ribbon, and I just tied a bow with it. And then I stamped, and I'm using the stamp from, is this one from the set? No. I'm using a couple of different sets for my greetings, but everybody has greetings. This one that I'm using is from Expressions of Friendship, and I love this, the greetings in this set. I'm using this Happy Birthday, and Today is All About You. But I love the greetings in this set. It is such a cute set. It's a hostess set. So you have to place a $150 order during celebration, which means by the end of February, in order to get the set. But it is a beautiful, beautiful set in that we have some great greetings in it. Okay, and I'm going to use Evening Evergreen. It's so dark, it almost looks like black, but it's not. And just stamp on my paper here, just leaving a little bit on each end so I can flag it on the ends. Oh, that came out good. Of course it did, because you know what? I had a backup. I figured if this didn't come out good, I was going to have one ready. So, of course it came out good. You know how it is. When you have a backup like that, when you are ready, it always works. So, yeah. You just trim this flag as well, this end. And so when you do these flags, you cut in the middle, just make a little snip in the middle, and then you'll cut from the corner to the end of that little snip that you made, and then from the other corner into that little snip that you made. And then you've got, oops, almost a perfect flag. I didn't go into the corner. Okay, come on. I'm going to cut my finger here, trying to show you. Okay, there we go. So Today is All About You. And then I'm going to use a couple of dimensionals and attach that to the back. Now when I put my dimensionals on, I want to make sure I put them on so that they're flush with the surface of my tag. the edge of my tag so that they're not showing underneath. And I'm just going to attach that right down there. Doesn't matter if the ribbon is over it or under it. I kind of like it under it. Okay, now let's work on the inside. So inside the card, I have cut lots of papers, lots of little papers. So these are the two, the two orange ones are the two that are going to get the greetings on them. So let's put those on there first. And my happy birthday is, there's one, there's my happy birthday. So they're both stamped in Evening Evergreen. See if I can stamp these straight. And this one says sending you lots of love, and that one came from another stamp set. That came from Dahlia Days, and I would have done this with Dahlia Days, except my Dahlia Days stamp set is in Lincoln today. He's visiting with a group of people, or he did this morning. So yeah, I did a club by Zoom today. Okay, so then I am going to attach these to each other. And I have chosen the Calypso Coral as my background for these. And these are cut at like, the white is 2 and, let's see, 2 3/8, 2.5, 2.5. Nope, 2 3/8 by 2, 2 3/8 by 2. So then, you know, the paper is just the Calypso Coral is just a little bit larger. And I didn't put that on there straight because I was fussing with it and not looking. Okay, it's going to stay. It says I'm handmade, right? Especially for you. Okay, and then I'm just going to attach this to my other Calypso Coral and hopefully put this one on straight. Let's give it a shot. Okay, that's much better. Okay, that one's going to go there. That one's going to go there. Now, we're going to stamp these two. These two, the white is 2.5 by 2.5. I'm going to move that out of the way. You want it small enough that it'll fit in there without colliding, okay? And here is my big image and my stamp pad. So this is what is called a, oh gosh, I knew the name of it, but now I can't think of it. It is a special kind of stamp, and it shows a lot of the texture. Actually, it's not even marked on the stamp set as being that kind of stamp. I was just looking to see, there's nothing on here. But it has a lot of texture, and if you get too much ink on it, let me show you what happens. It gets blobby. Well, that didn't work. I had another pad earlier that had a lot more ink on it. It was a brand new pad. And so, but if you get too much ink, let me find my pad. I'll show you. Because it looks yucky. I put it away so I wouldn't lose it. Okay. So you see how that has a nice variety of textures. It's a little bit down here where it's kind of yucky. But you can tell, you can see the ink on it there. You can see like little dots on the ink. I don't know if you guys can see that really well. But then when I stamp it, it leaves unevenness. It leaves dots. It's very uneven. And I'm not happy with that. So I have a way to fix that. I have a spoon that came out of my kitchen. You guys thought I was eating in my room, didn't you? I do eat in here sometimes, but this is not the spoon I use when I eat. And so I am going to, basically I'm pressing the ink down into the pad. I don't want the ink. First of all, let me tell you, when Stampin' Up! Designed these, they designed them so that the ink pad is upside down. So when you have your memento, the way you're supposed to store it or put it on your table is you're supposed to have it upside down. And that way the ink comes to the top of the pad. When Stampin' Up! Designed these pads, they designed them so, look what happens. they're turning upside down when you close them, so the ink comes to the top of the pad. Well, in this case, I don't want the ink at the top of the pad because it's too much ink. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a spoon, and be careful, you don't want to get the edge of it and scrape it. You want to get the round part of the spoon and just press the ink down in there. And you can see the difference. So this is really dark around the edges, and that's normal because that's where we stamp less, is around the edges. And then the center is lighter. And then, let me clean my stamp. Get all that excess ink off of there. Okay, now when I go to stamp, I should get a nice even inking. So here we go. It better work because I just put it on my paper. It did, look at that. That is beautiful. Okay. A little bit blotchy down here, but I think that was just because I didn't ink evenly. And once again, I'll do it. So that's much better. So if you're using a distinctive stamp, and that's what they're called, distinctive, D-I-S-I-N-K-T-I-V-E. And I don't know if it's indicated in the catalog. It used to be indicated on our sets. But anytime it's a stamp that has kind of like this, see how it has that textured look? Well, that's a distinctive stamp. The dahlia, this dahlia that we have, that one is a little bit of it. Not as much as the old dahlia. So, yeah, so you'll want to press the ink down in your pads so that it will stamp nicer. And you'll know. You'll see it stamped and you'll go, oh, it's messy. I don't like it. Okay, so then I'm going to stamp my little dragonflies here. And let's see. I didn't really leave a lot of room for them. Oh, there we go. And I'm stamping them in the green as well, just to stay with the color theme I have going here. And I should have checked that before because I think I just stamped them, so they're going to be going upside down. No, they'll be okay. They'll be all right. They'll just be floating whichever way. We'll make them work. How about that? It'll just change which direction my flower is coming from, but that's okay. All right. So I have 2 pieces of Evening Evergreen that are scored at 1 inch, 2 and 3/8, 3 3/8. So those 3 measurements, and I will put those on my blog. And let's put this together now. First, let's put these onto our Evening Evergreen background pieces that we have here. And these are just 1/8 of an inch larger, so if these were 2 1/2, these would be 2 5/8, right? And this one. I have a dog who wants in. I'm sorry, guys, you're going to have to listen to him bark. Usually he stands outside the door and cries. And usually he comes to the door right here by me and stands there and cries. Nothing like doing a video with a crying dog all the way through it. Okay, so those are on there and we're ready to go. So then I'm going to take the largest section. So you can see this one's small, this one's larger on the end. So I'm going to take my large section on the end and I'm going to glue that down to my card on the inside. Now I know that this is going to be over top of it, so I just want to kind of center it a little bit. I'm going to go right up to the fold line. I want it so that it butts up against the fold line when I'm done. And I'm going to do the same thing on the top one. I'm just going to crease these first. And so that 1 inch section at the beginning is going to get glued down. Whatever that is, I guess it's the 1 inch. No, it's a bit larger than 1 inch. And once again, I'm going to check this and just kind of get an eye for where my center is so that it's close. It doesn't have to be exactly. It's going to be hidden underneath there anyway. And just scoot that all the way to my edge, my left edge. Okay, so now I have these 2 in here. And so now I'm going to put some glue right here on this one. I'm just going to fold it over, and in that last block, I'm going to add glue and close it up. And just let that dry for a second. And I'm going to do the same thing on this one, just the last square here that I've got, the last section. I'm going to fold that over and close that one. And that's what's going to make my pop-up. And then I'm just going to take my bone folder and crease that really good there. And the same for this one, because we're going to want to have them laying flat. Okay, now in the larger section here, I am going to add my glue. Just not too much though, because you want it to dry. You don't want to have to sit here for 20 minutes waiting for it to dry. And in this section, I'm going to add my glue. I'm just going to take my fingers and smear that around a little bit, because it'll dry quicker that way. And what did I do with my rag? Okay, we'll just wipe it into a palm of my hand. And okay, so now I'm going to line this up with the bottom of my card right here. Whoops. I'm going to line it up with the bottom of my card and the edge of this little, not the bottom of the card, but the bottom of the white is what I'm lining up. And the edge of this little tab that I have over here, so that it will close, but I want to make sure it's going to close. So when you go to close it, it will not be caught, you know. And then this one, I'm going to do the same thing. It's going to go lined up with this edge of the white edge here. And the white edge. There we go. So my green's lining up there with my white edge, and then this is lining up over here. I've got a little bit of glue right in there that I don't want. Let's see if I have an eraser handy. I do. And let's get that off of there now before it has a problem. Okay. And so now those two panels are set. Okay. Now we're going to add our other two panels. And these on mine, they could be wider. You could make them wider. I didn't want them wider because I wanted to be able to see it when it was sitting like this. I wanted to be able to see the words. But when you do these, you're going to flatten this out. And these are going to just you're going to just kind of center them around there. You've got quite a bit of space. You could go, you know, further over to the right, further over to the left a little bit, you know, just center them in that area. And they're not even with the end of, necessarily even with the end of this, or I just said, you know, whatever area I have there, that's where they're going to go. You could even have them touching. You could do anything. Whatever you want, right? Okay. And there is our beautiful card. So the last step is to add in our last piece here, our front. Now, remember, we're only going to glue this side, or you're only going to glue this side, whichever one you choose. You could pick, but you only pick one. So I'm going to glue this side over here, this side, and so I'm going to flip this over and I'm going to put my adhesive all along here. And I love the green glue when we're doing cards that are interactive because it holds really well. And then I'm just going to center this on here, right, left, top, and bottom. And I think we need to add some bling. And I have some iridescent gems here. So let's add a few of those. Now let me grab my tweezers. And let's just place a couple of those scattered around. Whoops. We'll put one up here. And one down here. Let's see, right in there. And let's get a medium-sized one right down here. And there we are. So there's my card for you today. And I love doing it. It was fun to do. I love doing it. You can find me at stampwithdeb.com. And that's where you will be able to find the products that I use today. And I will have that blog post on there. And if I can be of any help to you, please don't hesitate to contact me. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.